Hey guys, it's Audra. Welcome to another video. So I just wanted to do a quick update video from the last video that I did about how to fix your metabolism because I had so many questions about that and I want to answer it in a video format because I think this would be a whole lot more helpful for other people who maybe watch that and if they have the same questions. There was a few common questions that kept coming up and I knew this would happen because it's like I was saying in the first video, it's really hard to just determine exactly like where somebody is specifically, okay? Especially like when you make a video like that, everyone is different, right? Like you're gonna be a little bit different from the next person, who's gonna be a little bit different from the next person, and on and on and on. So we're all different, we all have different backgrounds and histories and issues with disordered eating or exercise or hormonal issues or metabolism or diets or whatever. So it can be very difficult to just put everybody in a box, which is kind of what I was trying to explain in that video. But there are a few different questions that I wanted to answer because I think a lot of people would fall into these different boxes, and I think this would help you. The first common thing that kept coming up is about not having your period and exercising, and if you should be doing the increasing your metabolism and all that type of stuff. And so for those type of questions, I'm just going to direct you straight to my Get Your Period handbook. This is what you need to get if you are having hormonal issues, period related issues, you're wondering if you should exercise or not, and all that kind of stuff. Because the thing is, a lot of people are gonna be different. Like everyone's journey with getting their period back is different. But it all depends basically on you. And that's what my book talks about. That's what it goes into detail in, and it helps you figure out what exactly do you need to do. That's where I would start for the people who are wondering about, I'm still trying to get my period back, like what do I do, all that kind of stuff. Get my handbook. It will help you more than anything, and all the information is below. The next common question was, do I have to increase? Do I have to increase my metabolism? Do I have to keep adding in foods every week and all kinds of stuff like that? Like, do I have to do this? Why would I do this? Is my metabolism broken? Like, now I'm scared. No, you don't have to do any of the stuff that I talked about in the last video if you don't want to, especially if you are someone who eats a good amount of food, you feel great, like everything's working great, your hormones are great, your energy's great, like everything's going great, then no, you don't have to. This is just mostly for people who are eating very, very, very low calories and they're scared to increase, or they're starving themselves, or they're even like at a normal weight or overweight and they're eating very low calories and they can't lose weight, they just keep gaining weight off of that low amount of calories. That's what that's all about. But if you're just out there and you're eating a normal amount, you feel great, things are going good, then no, you don't have to increase. This is just something if you wanted to, like you still could. I mean, if you wanted to just eat more food, just eat more food. You could try it and see how it goes, but you don't necessarily have to. Again, like I can't tell you the exact amount of calories you need to eat and all that kind of stuff like that. I just encourage you to figure out for yourself what feels good, what makes you feel good, what gives you energy, what helps you to just get through the day and feel amazing. So that's that. So there's a whole nother group of people which actually breaks down into two categories, okay? So these are the people who have increased their intake of food and they have gained a substantial amount of weight. And when I say it breaks down into two categories, what I'm talking about is the first category is the people who increase their intake because they're recovering from from disordered eating, or like anorexia or bulimia or some other eating disorder. Like they just started eating a lot of food and they gained a lot of weight. The second group of people is that they didn't really have any type of eating disorder or whatever. Maybe they dabbled in some low calorie diets or low carb or yo-yo diets or something like that. But on the other hand, they just started shoving in the calories and they've gained a substantial amount of weight. So they both gained a lot of weight quickly, but they're two totally different groups of people, okay? So the first group, it's like I said in the last video, these are people with restrictive eating disorders who need to recover and you need to gain weight, okay? This is very, very, very important. And I know that it's uncomfortable for you, and I know that you probably look at weight gain as a very, very negative thing, but here's the truth. Weight gain is not always a bad thing. In fact, a lot of times weight gain is very, very, very healthy, especially if you were coming from an eating disorder past, okay? I want to be very clear on that because I know that like our society and our culture totally makes weight gain be this horrible, horrible thing that if you gain weight, then you're unhealthy and all this kind of stuff. And that is what is perpetuating all of these disordered eating habits in the minds of these young girls and guys, because they see weight gain is really bad. And if I ever gain weight, then I'm unhealthy and all this kind of stuff. And that is not true. Weight gain can be very, 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 very healthy. It can be life-saving. So if you are on this end of spectrum where you've been through all this stuff, you were very underweight, and you decided to increase your intake and you gained a lot of weight, that is okay at this point in your life. You needed to gain weight. And a part of this too is the fact that you are really not, it's not really up to you about what your healthy weight is, okay? You might look at all these pictures of all these girls and say, oh my gosh, like, I need to be at that weight because that's what's healthy. No, what is healthy is gonna be different for you from somebody else, okay? Especially when it comes to getting your hormones working correctly, to getting your mind right with food, to getting out of the obsessive thinking of food all day long and that type of stuff. So weight gain is not always a bad thing, okay? Especially if you're coming from the eating disorder background. Now, for the second group of people who didn't really have any eating disorders in the past, and maybe you dieted, or maybe you never dieted, and maybe you just started saying, I just need to eat a ton of food for whatever reason. Maybe somebody told you that you just were eating too low and now you just need to shove in a ton of food, then years would be a little bit different, okay? And so for you, what I would encourage you to do is to start getting back into the normal way of eating, okay? Get back into your normal hunger cues, your normal appetite. Stop following anybody who is telling you to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat just for the sake of eating. I did a whole series a few weeks ago on normal eating, and you can go back through my videos and watch those about what is normal eating, how to get back into being like an intuitive eater, to where you're literally listening to your body and your appetite and your like food choices to get to the best, most comfortable weight for your body. And you can do this. It takes a little bit of time, especially if you've been in this totally weird mindset of thinking that more food is automatically going to make you lose a ton of weight for whatever reason. I get a lot of comments and emails from girls saying, oh, I thought I had to eat 5,000 calories and then I can look like a runway model. And it's like, no, okay, especially if you've done that, if you've gone from eating a normal amount of food, just being a normal eater, and then you started eating all this food and you gained all this weight, obviously not, okay? It didn't work for you. So my whole thing is get back to being a normal eater. Stop force feeding yourself. Stop trying to go on some type of super extreme diet of really, really low carb or really, really low fat or really, really high carb or really, really high protein. Whatever, like if you're doing all that kind of stuff and it's not working for you, then you need to make some changes. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, especially if it's not working. Highly encourage you to watch that whole series I did on normal eating. It will really help you just open your eyes and be like, okay, you know what, like I have been doing something totally wrong. I'm not listening to my body. I'm not listening to my appetite. I'm not listening to what I need to be doing for my body. And because of that, I have ended up just gaining a ton of weight that I didn't need to gain. That is my opinion on those things. I hope that answers the majority of everybody's questions. Again, everyone is so different with this, okay? It's really, really difficult for me to just sit there and be like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. I don't know your background. I don't know what's going on with you, all that kind of stuff. But I do know for sure that if you have a restrictive eating disorder, which I'm sure a ton of people watching these two videos do, you need to be okay with the weight gain, and especially you need to get to where you're okay around food and you're not obsessed with all this all the time. That's why it's a really good idea for you to just not even deal with the stuff that I said about in the other video and just start living your life. I hope that clears some stuff up. I hope it answers a lot of your questions and a lot of the other questions that people might be asking based off that other video. But I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you next time. Bye.